Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome to Learning Nails and Aesthetics. Keep in mind, I am not AI, so mistakes will be made. Also, don't forget to watch my other videos on nails, aesthetics, as well as cosmetology and some fun unboxing, swatching, Temu hauls, all of that fun stuff. Handle communication barriers. Although you may do everything in your power to communicate effectively, you will sometimes encounter situations that are beyond your control. Your reactions to situations and your ability to communicate effectively in the face of challenges are critical to being successful in a people profession. Did you know? When referring to patrons, some salons and barbershops use the word client, while others use guest. Spas are more likely to use guest because of the amount of time the client spends on the premises and the fact that spa patrons often have lunch during visits. Some salons and barbershops have adapted this practice. Others feel it personalizes the relationship too much. Medical spas have returned to using client because many spas are bound by medical privacy laws when it comes to record keeping. Additionally, guest is never used in the professional medical field. Go with the culture of the business in which you're working, and you won't go wrong. Managing tardiness. Tardy clients can gratefully affect workflow. Because beauty professionals depend on appointments and scheduling to maximize working hours, a client who is overly late for an appointment or habitually late causes problems. One tardy client can set back an appointment calendar and make beauty professionals late for other services. The pressure involved in making up for lost time can be stressful, beyond being rushed and feeling harried. You risk inconveniencing clients who are prompt for appointments. Here are a few guidelines on managing late appointments. Know and abide by your shop's appointment policy. Many shops set a limit on the amount of time allowed for a client to be late before requiring a reschedule. Generally, if clients are more than 15 minutes late, they should be asked to reschedule. Most clients will accept responsibility and be understanding about the rule. However, you may come across a few clients who insist on being serviced immediately. Explain to them that you have other appointments and are responsible to those clients as well. Also, explain that rushing through the service would be unacceptable to both of you. If a client arrives late and you have the time to take the appointment without jeopardizing other appointments, politely advise the client of the late policy. You can deliver this information diplomatically and still remain pleasant and upbeat. As you get to know your clients, you will learn who is habitually late. You may want to schedule such clients for the last appointment of the day or ask them to arrive earlier than their actual appointment time. If you are running very late, have the receptionist call your clients and let them know. The receptionist can give them the opportunity to reschedule or to come in a little later than their scheduled times. Managing scheduling mix-ups. We are all human and we all make mistakes. Chances are you have gone to an appointment only to discover that you are in the wrong place at the wrong time. The way you are treated at that moment determines whether you patronize that business again. When you, as a professional, are involved with a scheduling mix-up, always remember to be polite. Never argue about who is correct. Once you have the chance to consult your appointment book, you can say, "Oh, Miss Montez, I have you in my appointment book for 10 o'clock, and unfortunately, I already have clients scheduled for 11 and 12 o'clock. I'm so sorry about the mix-up. Can I reschedule you for tomorrow at 10 o'clock?" Even though the client may be fuming, you need to stay detached. Move the conversation away from who is at fault and squarely to resolving the confusion. Make another appointment for the client and be sure the shop has their telephone number so that the appointment can be confirmed. Accommodate an unhappy client promptly and calmly. Resolving unhappy client problems. Once in a while, you will inevitably encounter a dissatisfied client. Remember the ultimate goal. Make the client happy. Happy clients build trust with their beauty professionals and will return for future services. Here are some guidelines. Try to find out why the client is unhappy. Ask for specifics. If it is possible to change what the client dislikes, do so immediately. If not, look at your schedule book to see how soon you can fit them in to make the adjustment. You may need to enlist the help of the receptionist if you have to reschedule other appointments. If the problem cannot be fixed, honestly and tactfully explain why. The client may not be happy, but will usually appreciate your honesty. Sometimes you can offer other options to minimize the client's disappointment. Never argue with the client or try to force your opinion. Activity. Unhappy clients. At some point in your career, you will have a client who is unhappy about something, either related to service or scheduling. The best way to prepare for this scenario is to practice. Role play with a classmate, taking turns being the client and the beauty professional. As you play the role of client, act out different personalities, first shy, then aggressive. Act out a problem that was the client's fault. Then evaluate your classmates, the beauty professional's reaction. Continue the conversation until you are satisfied. As you play the role of beauty professional, pay attention to the tone and level of your voice. Make certain you understand the problem. Avoid being defensive. Offer more than one solution. Determine when you should involve a manager, played by your instructor. Do not hesitate to ask for help from more experienced beauty professional or your manager. If, after you have tried everything, you are unable to satisfy the client, defer to your manager's advice on how to proceed. Confer with your manager after the experience. A good manager will not hold the event against you, but will view it instead as an inevitable fact of life from which you can learn. Follow your manager's advice and move on to your next client. And don't let it ruin your day. Managing differences. As a beauty professional, you'll find the clients you are most likely to attract are similar to yourself in age, style, and taste. On the other hand, you will also service clients who are very different from you. This is a positive element of your career as a beauty professional. Without both older and younger clients, the ones from different social groups, you won't be able to build a solid client base for future business. When working with clients who come from a different generation, the basic rules of professionalism should guide you. Older clients in particular may not like gum chewing, slang, or the use of yeah instead of yes. They like to hear please and thank you. They prefer to keep the topics of conversation professional. Some like to be addressed by the honorific, such as Mr. Smith, rather than by first names. When you meet an older client for the first time, ask how they would like to be addressed. Some clients are sensitive to verbiage about aging. When delivering skincare services, do not refer to aging skin. Instead, talk about dryness and solutions to remedy the condition. Here's a tip. Remember, both younger and older clients may be limited in their mobility and range of motion. Keep this in mind when moving clients from one station or room to another. Think about what tools you may need, such as cushions or booster seats, to position someone who has limited mobility or who needs additional support to sit or lie down comfortably. If these clients are your peers, relate to their image needs, but don't act too much like a peer. It is always better to maintain a professional demeanor. When it comes to slang, the same word can have different meaning across cultures, which is why it is always best to avoid using slang. If the word is fashion related and your client uses it, you can too, indicating that you understand and are aware of current trends. Never use cultural slang or regionalisms you do not fully understand. When in doubt, say, "I have never heard that expression before. What exactly do you mean?" Focus on talking points. Let's imagine a longtime client reveals to you that she and her husband are going through a messy divorce. You care for her and want to be understanding as she reveals increasingly personal details. Other practitioners and their clients are soon listening to every word of this conversation. You want to be helpful and supportive, but this is not the right time or place. What can you do? Decide which of these solutions you might use. Tell her you understand that the situation is very difficult, but that while she is in the shop, you want to do everything in your power to give her a break from it. Let her know gently that while she is in your care, you should both concentrate on her enjoyment of the service and not the things that are causing her stress. Change the subject. What topic should you shift to that seems the most natural? Find a reason to excuse yourself. When you return, change the subject. Acknowledge her by saying, "I'm sorry to hear that." Suggest a mini relaxation service the shop is promoting. Getting too personal. Sometimes, when a client forms a bond of trust with a beauty professional, the client can have a hard time differentiating between a professional and personal relationship. Manage client relationships tactfully and sensitively, with professionalism and respect. Do not engage in an attempt to fulfill the role of counselor, career guide, parental sounding board, or motivational coach for any of your clients. If your client gets too far off topic, use neutral subjects to bring the conversation back to beauty needs. If the client tells you about a personal problem, simply listen and tell the client you are sorry. Then ask, "What can we do to make your visit better today?" If your client is gossiping, change the subject as soon as you can. Try something like, "I just noticed your ends are drier than I thought. We'll do a deep conditioning treatment after your color." Then describe the treatment and home care. Books, movies, and celebrities can all be used to move into conversation about a particular look or style. As a rule, avoid discussing religion and politics. When you cannot find a way to move the conversation back to something beauty related, simply listen and then change the subject. That should be in capital letters. Avoid discussing religion and politics. Check in. How should you handle an unhappy client? List at least 4 points to keep in mind. And our next video will be follow guidelines for workplace communication. I hope this was helpful to you. My goal is to help you, so let me know if there is something that you would like to learn more about. Leave a comment. You don't have to write a dissertation in the comments, or even a short story, unless you want to, of course. Even just a little emoji. Let me know where you're listening from. And know that we now have memberships available. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.